Hello. Welcome into this today of my brain. Yep. I literally introduced y'all with the... Wait. It can never really be low quality.
Hey, it's Zach, and welcome up the ranks, quite literally. Okay, look down. We're good. Oh, lights flickering again. Still good. Oh my, dude, like what the fuck? Where's the door? Flashlight. Oh, thank you. Okay, now what? What the fuck is this? Picture? E? Wait, why is that? Is this a puzzle? I can't look at y'all for too long. Here.
What was the point of Optimus Prime's sword in Transformers 4 and 5? I mean, it was cool and definitely added to its new nightly aesthetic in Transformers Age of Extinction, but what general purpose did it serve that his main inventory of blades couldn't? Like, I'll take a scorching hot energon sword over a long basic sword any day. Something that I thought would have given it more appeal and mystique is if they made it a classic weapon such as the Star Saber. I mean, it was found on the Knights Temenos, and the original Greek definition for the word Temenos means a piece of land cut off and assigned to either some high authority or dedicated to a god. So Optimus is literally wielding a weapon that originates from some unknown individual or deity of legendary status. But the sword itself is never really explored or given any sort of novelty. The only thing that makes it cool, at least in my opinion, is its name, the Sword of Judgment. What was the point of Optimus Prime's sword in Transformers?
It's not a nerf war, that's just... Well, yes, but...
Do you live, travel, shop, or work in the U.S.? With the CIBC Bank USA Smart Account, you can quickly transfer cash, pay U.S. bills, and make purchases with ease. Now, banking in the U.S.
You know, I should really stop getting distracted and actually just do whatever I'm set out to do. Holy crap.
All sorts of objects. And there could have been huge casualties.
Anyways.
林鄭佢決定同103萬嘅市民對着幹，佢唯一嘅武器就係警察，佢就係預咗用警察嚟將香港人打到再出聲。
Oh, look how clean that is now.
Despite the police action, the protesters blocking Legco did have a victory that day. The extradition law had been stopped in its tracks.
They did the trick. It stopped the pro-Beijing members of the legislature from going into the building to pass the bill into law. Now, but for that sort of force, that bill would be passed. There's no doubt about it.
3 days later, on the eve of another mass protest, Carrie Lam announced the suspension of the bill to try and calm the situation.
I now announce that the government has decided to suspend the legislative amendment exercise.
Now we're, I think, getting into the 5 demands.
The next day saw an even larger turnout. A record 2 million people, according to organizers, although the figure has been disputed by others. The full withdrawal of the extradition bill was not the only demand now. They were calling for police to retract the term riot in describing the June 12th clashes and drop charges against those arrested that day. The death of a man who fell from scaffolding along the protest route the day before swelled the ranks of the demonstrators and prompted them to wear all black, a uniform they would keep for the months ahead.
There are quite a few leitmotifs here in these.
The government followed up with a written apology to the people of Hong Kong that night, but no mention of the protesters' demands.
The government's ability to control the narrative was next to
That's actually a lie right there.
Solo was one of the hardcore protesters at the front lines of clashes with police. Branded as rioters and criminals by the authorities, he spoke to us on the condition of complete anonymity, fearing arrest and prosecution.
但係警方不斷將所有嘢推向極端，從而令到好多人都想用啲好極端嘅行為去反抗，去爭取翻自己追求嘅公義。香港人加油！香港人加油！香港人加油！香港人
July 1st, the anniversary of Hong Kong's return from British to Chinese rule, has been marked every year since the 1997 handover with a protest march. But in 2019, the anniversary would be marked by something unthinkable.
Oh boy.
The siege and sacking of the Legislative Council, initiated by splinter groups of protesters who broke away from a larger, peaceful march.
7·1就係喺和理非嘅人開始之前已經用武器嚟。
Holy.
嗰一刻我係
Bro, they just.
和理非嘅人開始之前已經用武器嚟。嗰一刻我係有啲措手不及。
The crowds outside the building built up into thousands, locked in a standoff with police for hours. Shortly after 9 p.m., the glass walls and doors were breached.
If you psychological, that's really equivalent to subverting government. That's very serious. It's not just simple criminal damage.
I said that is too ugly. Too ugly.
我唔認為係衝擊，我係認為係一個光復立法會嘅活動，因為立法會喺過往嘅20幾年未曾真正發揮佢需要發揮嘅作用，亦都有好多不平等、不公平、不公義嘅事件多次發生喺立法會裏邊。
Riot police inside the building retreated before the first protesters rushed in.
Yeah, bro, if I saw that.
Left is a matter that still bothers all sides.
Bro, if I saw that.
Police, the performance at that time during the first phase was disappointing.
Bro.
If the police had not abandoned that building at such a crucial stage, none of them could have happened. None of them. That's the reality of the situation.
I had by that that stage about 600, 700 officers ready to go, ready to disperse the crowd. We were never told to do it. Why the decision was made not to do that, I don't know. There were other officers deployed inside LegCo, and obviously they have a far better idea about what's happening than I did. But it was frustrating. We had a big team there ready to go and sort this problem out, but we were not deployed. I don't think in any other jurisdiction, any other country, we would allow the seat of government to be invaded, vandalised, literally destroyed.
Just like the Capitol
And
attacks.
we did.
Oh, I remember seeing this on the news. Holy cow.
The trashing of the legislature was a hugely symbolic escalation.
Bro, I remember seeing like this Chinese emblem just blacked out using spray
An
paint.
unacceptable assault on elected authority. For the protesters, a rejection of failed political promises. No rioters, only tyranny, the slogan they left behind.
我覺得政治冇可能係永遠嘅和平，你爭取得好快。特別當你面對緊一個極權政府下嘅一個傀儡政府。
Deputy Police Commissioner Raymond Siu directed operations from headquarters during the first months of turmoil.
You cannot just glorify this sort of violence, say by saying that achieving
Dog.
justice by violating the law is okay. No, it shouldn't be. This is ridiculous. People making this sort of statement is irresponsible.
A foreign diplomat actually said to me he was very surprised that even after such a traumatic event, the government didn't hit back harder. That sort of action would have amounted to trying to overthrow government.
That's probably their
After the
slogan.
sacking of the Legislative Council, a critical turning point came during a mass rally on Hong Kong Island. Some protesters splintered off and made their way to Beijing's liaison office in the city.
They like bricked that place, and so many. Oh yeah, lasers always were used.
They
Like
vandalized the building facade and defaced the national symbol. The unprecedented insult and challenge to Beijing's authority was a message to China's leaders that this was no longer just a problem confined to Hong Kong and its internal affairs. It laid the groundwork for direct intervention later from the central government that would change everything. What was initially resentment against the police force turned into intense hatred of the men and women in blue. And it all came to a head that same night after the liaison office was vandalized. Footage broadcast on television and shared on social media showed a mob of men in white attacking people with metal rods at the MTR station in Yuen Long in the New Territories. They were there to target returning protesters, but their rampage was as indiscriminate as it was brutal. It took police 39 minutes to respond to distress calls.
There were lots and lots of incidents going on that evening. There was another major public event down in Hong Kong Island, so our resources are tight.
So when this incident did suddenly pop up in Yuen Long, there's an automatic time lag, time delay to get the requisite manpower up there. Was the main bulk of the riot police arrival slow? Yeah, it was, because of the distances.
隨報安良，全香港嘅警署都打唔到入去，冇人聽啊！打999 cut 線啊！咩事啊？你哋班差佬！
Protesters and their supporters accused police of being deliberately slow to respond. They saw it as proof of collusion between officers and criminal elements among the white-clad mob.
Then I knew the communists and the police and these triad people are working together. Can there be any doubt?
Well, yes.
示威者、抗爭者同有人受屈，但係冇觸動
係
啲深刻回歸案嘅即時火馬。咁呢一個係十分之羞恥嘅事嚟嘅。
I have to agree.
警隊嘅一份子嘅話，亦都覺得十分羞恥。
On August the 5th, Hong Kongers woke up to a city almost completely paralyzed. Protesters called for a citywide strike to escalate their campaign and spread out across Hong Kong to enforce it. Public transport ground to a halt as protesters blocked road traffic. They disrupted train services by stopping carriage doors from closing. Hundreds of flights were cancelled at Hong Kong's international airport as air traffic controllers called in sick at the last minute. At least 10 districts across the city were rocked by violence. And there was much more to come.
Molotov cocktail.
Petrol bombs became a weapon of choice for the radicals. Police increased their use of rubber bullets and pepper spray and fired thousands of rounds of tear gas at the increasingly angry crowds.
This is
The
honestly
protest movement ramped up efforts to make more global headlines by taking over the arrival hall of Hong Kong's international airport. It was all peaceful at first, but eventually for the first time, clashes at the airport with horrified international travelers looking on. Their journeys disrupted, hundreds of flights cancelled. And ugly scenes like this. The airport drama reached its climax on a night when protesters held a mainland Chinese man hostage, beating him and accusing him of being an undercover policeman.
China sent people pretending as press to be undercover.
He turned out to be a reporter of a Beijing-based newspaper who was rescued by paramedics. Further chaos erupted as police forced their way into the department
Holy cow.
to make way for the medics. When it was all over, the protesters realized they'd gone too far and tried to
yeah,
make
look
up for
how
it in the
that's
morning.
pretty wholesome. Awesome.
After a court injunction banning them from the main terminal building, the protesters left the airport and did not return. The street violence expanded into train stations, disrupting the city's most popular and convenient mode of public transport. A police crackdown at Prince Edward MTR station became a defiant movement, with officers storming onto a train to go after protesters.
But I'd say that was actually fairly excessive.
去顯現警方暴力、無理、 失敗嘅行為嘅一個最大轉捩點之一嚟。
In terms of the Prince Edward side of things, we'd have this situation where the MTR became virtually a no-go zone for police. Police didn't go into the MTR system. Protesters could move around wherever they wanted. But logistically, that created all sorts of problems because crowds could move very quickly from one area to another simply by using the MTR. When the police eventually got into the MTR system, I think it had quite a
You beat up a bunch of
positive
people. Oh my goodness. Oh, I forgot about how many people just decided
how
to screw up the
control
MTR.
the riots and our ability to respond to the riots, because suddenly with the protesters they realised this wasn't just their sort of automatic escape route.
Anger turned against the MTR, which was accused of colluding with police against protesters using the railway network.
That becomes common.
It became routine for radicals to set MTR entrances on fire, destroy ticket machines and turnstiles, and cause as much damage as possible. Train stations became tear gas-filled battlegrounds, and violence intensified all round.
No law enforcement agents in the world would tolerate the sort of violence against the police officers. Violence used by the rioters invites forceful response, and that applies to all police officers, all police agents in the world. There are lots of people criticizing us using excessive force, but have you heard these people criticizing, condemning violence used by the rioters? Of course, I feel this is unfair to us. Our use of force guidelines, they basically is benchmark the international standard.
呢個正正就係話俾我聽，點解啲後生仔最後要選擇私了就係因為佢未必好識點樣講嗰兩句出嚟，但係佢睇到噶嘛。拉人嘅就係警察，藍絲你就放，黃絲你就打，咁你同我講乜嘢法治啊？
我相信721同831。
Wait, that's actually kind of smart, bro. Bro, that's actually smart, bro.
721同831呢兩件事件係將好多中立派系嘅人士推向所謂我哋嘅黃絲派系，亦都將好多淺藍推返去中立。
Right now, I'm in a neutral stance for this.
藍絲就覺得遊行嘅人搞亂香港，令到佢哋生活唔到，於是乎就斬佢。然之後黃絲就覺得藍絲呢一班人係即係港豬，然之後又傷害佢哋，個社會徹底地去分裂。
For all sides, it was now a fight for Hong Kong's soul. October 1st, China's National Day. And across Hong Kong in 2018, it is a day of chaos.
Holy. Bro, that child. I remember at some point schools got cancelled, and I think it was Mao.
In stark contrast, President Xi Jinping leads celebrations in Beijing for the rest of the country. Public opinion across mainland China is strongly against the violence in Hong Kong, and on this day, the amplified unrest becomes a national embarrassment.
Oh yeah, another fire is a big leitmotif in these protests, honestly.
13 of Hong Kong's Beijing's 18 districts are rocked by clashes between radical anti-government protesters and police. The MTR system is shut down.
Yeah, so were schools, I think, at this point.
Shops and businesses shuttered. Smoke from burning barricades and tear gas fumes filled the
I remember, I think one of my friends just had a hard time sleeping because of these guys.
Given the intensity of the clashes, it is something that is bound to happen sooner or later, and it does. An 18-year-old protester is shot in the chest at close range by a police officer under attack. It marks the first time during months of protests that anyone is shot by a live round.
The action of the police were actually kept on TV camera. Everybody can see that.
I was deployed in Chunwan, where the shooting took place of the young boy. Extremely violent crowd that day. Out to.
I'd say that shooting was based off of.
I would say from the various deployments I've had for that 7-month period, that October 1st one was by far and away the most violent.
Police fire 6 live rounds that day, and while no one is killed, the escalation causes widespread alarm.
If it is a life-threatening situation, we have well-established guidelines when we need to use firearms. I wouldn't say that our frontline officers are doing everything perfect on the ground, but I hope that everybody needs to bear in mind that our frontline officers on the ground, they are facing a lot of stress and challenges.
The teenager who was shot undergoes emergency surgery and survives. He is also arrested and charged with rioting and assaulting a police officer. The first use of deadly force by police and resentment against them over the Yunlong controversy lead to a sharp escalation of violence. But it's not all police versus protesters.
Holy Jesus.
Supporters and opponents of the protest movement are pitted against each other. A deeply divided society is reflected in 2 opposing colours. Yellow for the anti-government movement, blue for those who support police and the establishment. Vigilante violence becomes commonplace as radical protesters take to assaulting people who speak out against them on the streets. Extreme opponents of the protest movement also engage in tit-for-tat violence. Society is in full upheaval.
其實如果你有回顧6月、7月、8月，其實係大概8月中先至開始出現我哋嗰邊私了其他泛民主派嘅。
He's proud of that.
我認為係因為藍色嗰邊嘅派即係更加嘅派系啦。當然包括埋黑社會警察啦，咁佢哋會做好多不必要嘅暴力事件出嚟去推翻我哋嗰邊嘅憤怒個武力程度啦。甚至乎如果你喺街上面你一表態你係邊一個顏色派嘅人，你亦都會即刻受到襲擊啊，甚至乎係無理嘅傷害啦。咁呢一種情況下，市民嘅團結性同團結度都咁低嘅時候咧，我認為政府施政會失敗咯。
This particular attack on a Mandarin-speaking JP Morgan Chase employee by protesters outside the company's headquarters has a deep impact on public opinion. Many are repulsed by the lawlessness.
Oh boy.
Protest violence spins out of control
All right.
Businesses with links to mainland China and those seen as sympathetic towards the blue.
Yeah, Starbucks, Genki Sushi. Wait, 360 got attacked? Oh.
The demonstrations continue long after Chief Executive Carrie Lam has formally withdrawn the extradition bill, a gesture which does little to ease anger on the streets. For many, it is too little, too late.
It's exactly what they wanted. Oh my god.
The protesters have a list of 5 demands, now including an independent investigation into police conduct and amnesty for the many arrested. Lam's government rejects the demands as unreasonable, but has no other political solution to offer. Hong Kong is torn apart.
佢哋嘅生死咧，其實我哋就唔太理嘅，因為大家都係敵人啦，冇理由我要你敵人嘅感受。
That's not okay.
情況去判斷我應唔應該去進行武力升級嘅。
I took my oath of office in 1988 to the Hong Kong government and the people of Hong Kong, and that's what I do. That's what we, the police force, do. We serve the people of Hong Kong. They might not necessarily agree with everything we've been doing of late, but I honestly, hand on heart, believe what we have done has saved Hong Kong from far worse fate. The Hong Kong police has been put in the middle of what is a political conundrum, a political problem, dilemma. We're in the middle of it. We're not trying to solve the political problem. We're just trying to keep Hong Kong safe so that people can go about their normal daily lives.
I was actually thinking this would be a double year-long protest.
No, tear gas is used for dispersing the crowd, and tear gas has been used by a lot of countries for 100 years, but nobody criticizes that. We just want to disperse the crowd. When we use the special crowd management vehicle, SCMP, when we use the color dye, we also receive criticism. What do you expect us to do? Verbal advice, verbal warning, then people will criticize us, being impolite. Is that fair? While criticizing us using different levels, then are they criticizing the other party? The writers using that sort of violence. Those are the lethal weapons. Petrol bombs, firearms, explosives.
其實我一路以嚟都對氣人係有好大嘅即係好驚會傷到人。但係你見到喺成個示威嘅過程裏邊咧，即係大部分嘅示威者其實佢嗰個氣彈都係掟喺地下，掟落個地下嗰度，即係阻止警方推進，或者佢哋走嘅時候為自己開一條即係路。喺一個運動一個經歷嘅時候，我慢慢理解到其實嗰個係人揀佢哋嘅重點就係保護自己。反之，警察話咗開槍係唔可以接受佢會繼續嘅。
It's called self-defense.
Constant clashes and tear gas-filled streets take their toll on residents of built-up neighborhoods such as Mong Kok. Bonnie Ho is one of them.
咁我呢度樓下就已經係亞皆老街啦，我又望住彌敦道啦 ，OK。咁其實晚晚就喺呢個十字路口位，晚晚都會見到警察喺度布防咯。跟住然之後咁啲示威者就喺樓下揾啲雜物啊、垃圾桶啊嗰啲好多嘢喺度擋住路。因為佢時放催淚彈咧會放到我樓下㗎。 放完啦，我即刻閂窗啊，即刻走去洗面啊，擋住煙啊，跟住又開風扇吹下先啦，唔係成間屋都係嗰陣味嘛。跟住然之後，我仔都唔夠一個鐘頭就流鼻血，跟住之後又咳啦，跟住咳咗成個禮拜。
The social unrest takes a turn for the worse in November, plumbing new depths of violence. The death of Chelsea Locke, a university student who fell from a multi-storied car park while police were conducting a clearance operation nearby, sparks a renewed backlash.
Wait.
Young protesters call for more aggressive action. University campuses become the new option. University campuses become the new war zones. Regular and radical student protesters joined by extremists take over 5 university campuses on November 11th, calling for a citywide general strike. The violence spills over into a second day.
I honestly think that the police should have done like a 1, 2, 3.
Police enter the Chinese University of Hong Kong campus, accusing radicals of criminal damage and stockpiling an arsenal of weapons to fight them. An attempt to mediate by the university's vice-chancellor failed.
Bro, that guy has balls of steel though, bro.
Protesters and police fight for control of a key bridge leading to the campus. The Battle of the Bridge lasts for hours.
They were the hardcore front line, Yongmo Pai, the militants, with the best training, who tried to take possession of the university campuses. And what they were doing was really dangerous, so they had to be stopped.
要死都要保住中大，甚至乎犧牲都要保住中大嘅原因，就係因為中大嘅建校基礎就係反共㗎嘛。咁而共產黨嘅傀儡嘅政權所派出嘅警力係需要進攻呢一個我哋所謂進攻呢一個中大嘅時候，咁我哋梗係武力梗係立即提高，同埋亦都係會作出最大嘅抵抗啦。
Students at other universities respond.
Holy cow, they built a catapult.
Fortifying their campuses, barricading entrances, and blocking public access to road and rail traffic. But police keep their distance. By the end of the week, all but one of the campuses are abandoned. Outside the Baptist University campus, where protesters block the road with debris, a striking scene unfolds. People's Liberation Army soldiers emerge from their nearby barracks to clean up the mess. They turn out in gym shorts and vests, armed with buckets and brooms rather than guns. This is the first and only intervention in the protests by the PLA, and it's all over in an hour. All the constant speculation about the possibility of a Tiananmen-style crackdown proves unfounded.
That's what I thought would happen, honestly.
The last campus to remain occupied. The Hong Kong Polytechnic University becomes the most violent battleground yet.
Surprised police didn't start just.
An estimated 1,000 protesters dig in for the long haul.
即係對於我嚟講，係見到架電會裝甲車爆個胎，其實個心真係開心。你真係會有一種佢最自豪嘅一架裝甲車竟然會爆胎。
Hardcore activists take it to a new level, mass producing more makeshift weapons. Blocking access to the nearby Cross Harbour Tunnel, a key thoroughfare connecting Hong Kong Island to the Canton Peninsula.
We were shocked to see so many people inside the university using this sort of violence. One of our media liaison officers got attacked by an arrow with his scarf being struck through. It is sad to see that. Although, I must say, not all rioters inside were university students. But again, you can see a lot of university students are being exploited to use such level of violence.
好冷堂精神。
Sorry, my cat was on my.
主要嘅目的係拉到一部分人啊嘛。咁而對人如果拉唔到或者傷唔到嘅，咁至少都要同佢一齊倒下先得㗎。
It's like a free-to-play SWAT vehicle. Holy cow!
Police form a ring around Poly U. No one gets in, no one gets out. The campus is under siege.
Honestly, protesters
wanted to create a situation.
Oh, hi. Is someone in this call? SNB, hello.
Where a lot of protesters could be caught in.
What you doing? Did you just wake up? Alright, okay, I'm gonna finish my video and then I'm gonna stop the stream. Or I'm gonna stop doing whatever. It's a really good video.
Alright, I'm gonna be right back. You wanna put some actual clothes on?
Oh yeah, dude, guess what? Dude, if you could get Levi on, that would be amazing. Do you know why?
Oh yeah.
Do you know why? Because... Look at what I did. I'm wearing the outfit. Ripped creeper shirt and all. The same very outfit Avatar wears. To be honest, I think that the protesters inside Poly U, I think that like also protesters around, coming from a strategic perspective, not from a perspective of someone who is pro-protester or pro-police. If they want to come out without being arrested, they should have just had everyone go on the offensive.
They made a big mistake because they have been successful by following the be water tactics. When they were all over the place, it's hard for the police to catch them. But on that occasion, they were corralled by the police, and they became very scared from what I heard. So I think the police scored a decisive victory.
We shut the place down. That's it. We're not putting up with any more of this. We locked it down, we cordoned it, we were in control of it. And I think it's a little bit of a pivotal moment, as it were.
The siege of Polyeu is still underway as the city goes to the polls. Public trust in the authorities is at an all-time low, both among protesters on the streets with their unaddressed grievances and those demanding a return to law and order and peace. The anger against the government and Beijing is channeled by the protest movement into the polls, and their opposition candidates, riding on this wave of discontent, achieve a landslide victory at the municipal level district council elections. The election is widely seen as a de facto referendum on just how much public support is widely seen as a de facto referendum
That is a celebration right there. Holy crap.
on just how much public support is behind the protest movement. And the numbers make it crystal
Never gonna
clear.
give you up.
Opposition candidates seized 392 out of 452 district council seats, trouncing pro-establishment candidates in a stunning rebuke to land's governance.
Damn!
But at the same time, the number of votes for pro-establishment parties add up to 1.2 million, compared with 1.6 million for the opposition. Another reflection of a divided society.
Yeah, I probably, if I were actually
police
pro-protester,
surrounding the campus and protesters holed up inside, the siege of Polyeu ends. Protesters abandon the campus over the course of several days. Hundreds are arrested by waiting police. When police take over the campus, they make a stunning discovery. A stockpiled arsenal of nearly 4,000 petrol bombs, almost 1,400 explosive items, more than 600 bottles of corrosive liquids, and nearly 600 other weapons. But it is no decisive victory for the authorities to celebrate.
Oh, the
Hong Kong
Teslas.
Society has never been so traumatized, exhausted, or divided. Christmas 2019. And the protests continue. On the streets and in shopping malls. Glory to Hong Kong, a song born of the protest movement, becomes the anthem of defiance. Patriotic groups opposing the protests hold rival singing sessions, belting out China's national anthem in a musical counter-offensive.
I'm sorry, the Chinese anthem is kind of catchy, not gonna lie.
Protesters no! is being run by people who oppose them. Shopping malls become another battleground as police go in after them. Like the protesters, police also change tactics, taking more aggressive, often preemptive action to restore law and order. They are led by a new commissioner, Chris Tang, who brings in a bolder, no-nonsense style of policing. The police force is no longer the demoralized and embattled agency struggling to control the protests. Encouraged also by Beijing's vocal support for officers, it hails as heroes. And then, on top of everything, comes the coronavirus pandemic.
COVID kind of ever
COVID-19,
did.
in a city already scarred by SARS, keeps people off the streets. The protests are not over, but they're dying down. Police enforce social distancing rules while getting tougher and more resolute in their crackdowns on protest violence and illegal gatherings. The combined impact on the scale and frequency of protests is substantial. Just a few months ago, Lam's government had invoked emergency powers to ban the use of masks, its targets being the radicals covering their faces to break the law. Now it has to ask everyone to wear masks to save lives.
There's still mask mandate, I think.
For the first time in 3 decades, police ban Hong Kong's annual candlelight vigil to mark the anniversary of the Tiananmen Square crackdown. But thousands remain defiant, gathering at Victoria Park in the heart of the Causeway Bay business district.
Holy cow.
Authorities cite the risk of COVID-19, but for protesters and opposition activists, the pandemic is being used as an excuse to suppress them. They have another reason to rally, and it's something far more devastating to the movement, of far more consequence to the city, the new national security
I
law.
got passed as well.
Just days ahead of the June 4 commemoration, China's top legislative body unanimously passes the national security law for Hong Kong.
Zero!
The law outlaws acts of secession, subversion, terrorism, and collusion with foreign forces. Beijing had left it to the Hong Kong government to end the protest chaos of the previous year. It now decides to step in directly, citing a threat to national security and accusing foreign governments of interference that it can no longer tolerate. News that sweeping new legislation is coming.
I got a dental character.
Huh?
I got a dental character.
You got who?
I got Collie.
Oh, sorry, wrong gun. Get out, you dumb. Yeah, I'm here.
Sparks more calls at the...
How much longer is that video?
Watch the video. Watch the video.
I'm reading out.
Wait, I think this might be a different one, but yeah, watch this video right now.
The page reading out.
What are you doing? For your audio keeps... You want to do something?
Yes.
Well, give me a sec. You can watch with me. You can watch my stream. This is a really good and inside good video for people who want to know what the frick happened from a very...
These protests for independence.
How much longer?
The open calls by protesters for US and British intervention, the pleas for punitive action against China, the anti-national slogans, the attacks on the symbols of Chinese sovereignty, all have far-reaching consequences. With Hong Kong now a battleground for the wider political confrontation between China and the United States, already locked in a raging trade war, Beijing decides to act. The new legislation is
Looks
sweeping
so, like,
and
much like a
immediately targets
dictatorship
acts
thing.
such as the waving of pro-independence flags and chanting of pro-independence slogans. Vandalism like this can now be considered a terrorist act, and the penalties can be as severe as life in prison. The new law takes effect late into the night of June 30th. Thousands try to protest against it the next day, July the 1st, the 23rd anniversary of Hong Kong's return to Chinese rule. Nearly 400 people are arrested, and, for the first time, 10 are accused of breaching the new national security law. Life under the new law. Many fear the national security legislation will be used to undermine freedoms and stifle dissent. The opposition sees it as the beginning of freedoms and stifle dissent. The opposition sees it as the beginning of the end of the one country, two systems policy, under which Hong Kong enjoys a high degree of autonomy. Western governments, led by the US, threaten serious consequences and follow up with punitive action and sanctions against the city and its leaders.
I am directing my administration to begin the process of eliminating policy exemptions that give Hong Kong different and special treatment.
中央今次係堅定不移去進行呢個立法工作。
But both the local
Yeah, that was Trump. Honestly, I agree with that. I think, yeah, Hong Kong shouldn't be given any new things.
Yeah, and especially it's China, not the USA as well.
I am big, bro. Don't discriminate against the Chinese. I am Chinese.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways,
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm
it's mostly
I'm just really
China.
saying that because I'm again mostly in my blood of Asia because I'm so African and Mexican.
Did you hear that? Did
as
you hear
well? I'm from what I know so far, I'm not Chinese yet. I'm still waiting for my deceased grandpa's blood from my dad's side.
Okay.
So all I know so far is Asian.
Hi.
Oh.
Okay, you're squirming and worming on my lap. Okay. Do you want on or no? Anyways.
and central governments dig in, insisting that the law will be used only to ensure security.
I honestly feel like that's a bit of a lie.
They say fundamental rights will be protected by the city's judicially independent courts, and it will be back to business as usual. Amid the conflicting narratives, the city now houses a dedicated national security office.
I bet
with
that's
a
gonna be
special
raided
police
soon.
unit to enforce the law. They hit the ground running and have already started taking action. Armed with new legal powers, national security police are now part of the new law enforcement landscape. People are now arrested for acts that they could get away with previously, but are now considered serious crimes. The chaos may be over for now, and the streets quieter, but Hong Kong society remains more divided than ever.
How many dictators do we need to appease before we learn? No riot, only tyranny. Wow. Oh yeah, the V for Vendetta is also a very big motif. It's everywhere, really.
我應該要放下仇恨，我唔認為仇恨會令到我哋嘅社會進步。但係喺一個社會當中，我都冇辦法去完全清理到自己嘅仇恨。 我冇辦法說服話俾我聽嗰班警察係只係執行公務。我冇辦法接受到，冇辦法原諒到佢做過嘅事。唯一可以令到呢一種情緒得到安息，就係警察為佢哋行為負擔咗責任。
你係咪人嚟㗎？你根本唔係人嚟㗎！你個
Holy.
I am
Okay.
not a human rights abuser. There are no burnt villages, there are no mass graves.
Okay. I don't see him as a human rights abuser, but that line kind of
It's
stuck
just
to me.
police officers do burnt villages.
Okay, this woman shouts at police, "Are you a human being? No, you are absolutely not. You motherfucker."
I am not a human rights abuser. There are no burnt villages, there are no mass graves. It's just police officers doing their job, acting in accordance with the law.
And I think to
appreciate a lot of the
myself,
public don't like that. But that's the way it is.
How should Hong Kong move forward? How can it carry on?
實現雙普選先至係令到香港可以穩定嘅關鍵。基本法寫住就係大陸唔可以干預香港一切部門，然之後港人係治港嘅，然之後仲話俾你聽，香港係會循序漸進，最終達至普選。
I think that's actually the lies and deceit.
當香港冇真普選，立法會係繼續係會背離民意。當香港冇得選自己嘅特首，我哋嘅特首係會繼續踐踏有關嘅權利。
I am not in despair because I know we are doing the right thing. I know we have the moral high ground because they are breaking agreement, not me. They are.
Yo, SMB, do you think of wait, shoot, I shouldn't say this on stream. Give me a sec. Okay. Bro, stream audio on. Be shut. We can talk about this and working on show. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna continue watching this and I'm gonna show you something.
And we are just holding them to their contract, if you like.
We have come. Wait, oh my god. The man brought out the DS, bro. This guy brought out the DS. I think maybe or maybe not the DS. I don't know. But they're ready to like light the Chinese flag on fire.
Hong Kong cannot enjoy two systems without acceptance of the country. So I think Beijing, through all the statesmen they are putting, they are reminding Hong Kong people, they are telling Hong Kong people emphatically, you are part of the country. If you want your future to continue as under one country, two system, you have to respect China's sovereignty, security, and developmental interests. That's how you can continue to carry on.
The Communist Party never wants our community to heal. They want to divide and conquer. But I don't believe our civil servants and our officials want that.
Holy, bro! You want to see how crazy Hong Kong was? You want to see how crazy Hong Kong was? Very indiscriminate.
Want that.
Look at that, bro. Okay, this is a genuine image from the protests. This was probably from the white mob, I assume, but like. Now check the chat, and I'll show, and you'll see the most.
They're still Hong Kong people.
Oh my god.
They know our values. I know in their hearts too, they must treasure the same values as we treasure. They may agree.
Yeah, you see, that is.
Well,
that's something you see on the news every day.
But I don't think they enjoy doing all these things to our young people. They too have kids. I don't hate these people. I pity them.
The narratives are different, but most agree on one reality. It's not over yet.
The issues that...
Okay, here's another thing right here. Okay, right outside of an H&M, but like, look, all the people in the navy, all the people in green are riot cops. Those are all riot police.
Alright. Is there any blood over there?
No, no blood.
Because I haven't.
Look how many. That's basically all just police. That's all taken up by police. Everyone in that frame is basically police.
Perhaps with the exception of the extradition bill itself. The issues haven't really been addressed when they are.
Sorry, that's a.
All sorts of objects.
Grapes. Steve. Grapes.
Do you ever just see people normally just yeeting firebombs at others?
Not over yet.
The issues that gave rise to this, perhaps with the exception of the extradition bill itself, the issues haven't really been addressed when they are.
Look at this. This is this is just normal. This was 2019 for you. In my where I used to live, bro. This was 2019 for y'all. This was literally, again, look at the chat, look at the Gamigan chat right there. Not the Gamigan, like,
Here's a
TikTok.
slide bloody door.
Look at the image right there I sent.
Slide bloody door.
That is real. There's too much vandalism, bro. You know, so Hong Kong has this railway system that goes all across the entire city, and it's...
He just left.
I know. And one of those things about that system is that it's just the most widely used thing of transport. So, you know what happened? They literally just continually burned that. All of the, like, that was like one of the most targeted places ever.
我認為香港嘅兩派系嘅撕裂會更加越嚟越大啦，武力嘅。
Like, dude, okay, people would be constantly just getting beat up in the middle of the streets just for expressing their political opinion, bro. It got bad. It got real bad. Like, dude, you live in LA, but it was not as bad as this. Like, yeah, there might be graffiti here, there, everywhere, but like, tear gas constantly being fired in 13 out of 16 districts. Is that normal? That's
not even for the not a dump. LA has a lot of really good.
每位嘅同路人、港督抗爭者喺未來嘅抗爭運動裏邊，可以做得幾多嘅？
Bro, this guy used a tennis racket. What was the worst you had?
The worst we had is that in apparently someone got killed. Someone literally got murdered in their house when we were living there. We just didn't hear it. I was asleep. I was less than 4. I just learned about the fact that someone was murdered, like, in our neighborhood somewhere.
Oh. Dude, that's the worst that could happen. Bro, we had, like, full-on tear gas being fired. 13 out of 50 districts were just on there. The schools were closed because of how chaotic this was. Have you ever had your school closed because of people breaking and going crazy at the police, ever? No. I mean,
no.
Exactly.
It has happened before in LA, but...
It has happened before. I would believe that. I would believe that. I would believe that. Y'all...
I'm homeschooled. I'm literally homeschooled.
抗爭可以最大效益化。我相信未來。
I don't know. But yeah, something has happened similar to many schools closing in LA because
you've had the COVID pandemic.
No, before that.
Oh.
I wasn't in LA during COVID.
Political
I moved in 2018.
Not something that we have to consider. Okay, as a police officer, we need to maintain law and order. We do expect that this will go on again, maybe after the coronavirus is being under control.
Yeah.
But, of course, we stand ready for that.
What the?
I think this is make or break time for Hong Kong. Things are coming to a head. The debate about one country, two systems, the debate about whether Beijing's officers are interfering in our internal affairs, what is the level of our autonomy. These things are coming to a head. These are the core issues.
Oh yeah, this is normal. This is normal. You just see piles and piles upon trash of trash. Just everywhere. Barricades, makeshift, a lot of makeshift weapons.
I don't see that in the neighborhoods or big cities. Like,
No, not littered on the roads where cars drive. Not bricks everywhere. Just bricks.
No, I'm talking about like. Yeah, there is trash. There is like trash where there's really not trash.
Yeah, I know. There's something called littering, but have you ever seen this level of just...
I haven't seen the level of chaos. I have seen a bit of that in
Although
LA before again.
Wait, did you see that
Things
in
like
the news
these
though? Because I'm pretty sure that was covered by the news.
From
That
the
was
past
covered by the
now.
news globally. I was like,
Yeah,
wait,
no,
hold up,
I
that's
didn't-
where
I
I
didn't
live. On the news, like in Canada, I
Hong
was like,
Kong remains a troubled city, a politically torn landscape facing an uncertain future as it also struggles with the economic fallout from the pandemic. And the world is watching how China handles its rebel city.
he said it. He said it. This is amazing. Okay, here are some of the worst things that happened. Okay.
Invaded, vandalised country.
Oh yeah, have you ever had a government building in your state specifically, not the U.S. Capitol? We don't need to talk about the Capitol attacks. We all know about the Capitol attacks. But like, have you ever had a government building just come by like a huge mob, just broken, torn apart, and just broken in two?
Well, I mean, like, again, LA's
Like, I know
a violent place in certain areas. So, yeah. I don't doubt that something like that has happened before. I just haven't heard about it.
My God, bro. Are you?
LAX. I'm an LAX.
Of course, you live there.
Just as convenient as bathing at home.
And we frequently visit LA because the majority of my dad's family lives in LA or very close to LA.
Oh. It's the Giga Chat. Anyways, yeah, what do you want to do now? I attempted to play Bed Wars, but then I just immediately got triggered by A, we spot in with a pickaxe, B, you're supposed to start with leather armor. Oh my gosh. What is this bull? C, we're meant to...
You're playing Minecraft Bed Wars right now?
No. If I would, Sweaty would be here. Anyways,